There are three kinds of mental health treatments that we need to know about in the recovery process that we go through when dealing with children with addiction. We've talked a lot about physical health, mental health, and social health. Now I want to get into the mental health aspects. The three kinds of mental health that I want to focus on today are number one, family mental health, and that is getting treatment for the family. As a family unit, a lot of the dysfunction that comes as a result of addiction manifests itself in the way the family works together. Husband, wife, your qualifier, the child that's addicted, and then any siblings that you may have. That's a complex dynamic. It's complex in the best of days, right? I mean, as parents, we all know that sometimes a house is a lot like a circus, right? There's all sorts of acts going on at any one time, people preparing, people coming on, people going off. I mean, it can be confusing under the best situations. We love our family, we love our wives, our husbands, we love our kids, but it's complex, let's just face it. When addiction comes into the family, there's a lot of stress that's put on. Any weakness you have, it is going to be amplified 100%. And the net result is, as a family unit, you begin to be put under a lot of pressure. That's why a lot of the recovery programs that we go through with our children have built into it family counseling. Once a week, once a month, you get together and they bring you in as a family unit to work with them under the guidance of a counselor. We recommend now that you actually seek this help out externally as well, right? As your son, daughter is continuing through either early phases of recovery or later phases, to bring the family together and seek family help. A month, 2 months, 6 months, bringing the group together provides a venue for the family to focus their pains, their insecurities, their concerns in a very safe environment. So the number one kind of therapy we should be seeking as a group with children who are going through addiction is seek that family therapy. The second one is obviously for ourselves, right? I mentioned before that I get therapy once a week. I made the joke when I speak to folks, when I give open speeches, I always ask people to shake their moneymaker. They stand up, they wiggle their tush around a little bit. I laugh, they laugh, I start shaking my head. And I point out to them that my moneymaker is my brain. As I mentioned, I don't work a lot with my hands anymore. I don't work a lot with my back, right? People pay me for how my brain functions every day of the week. So if my brain's not healthy, I'm not healthy. And if I'm not healthy, I can't provide support for myself. I can't provide support for my family. I certainly can't provide support for my coworkers and the clients that are relying upon me. So getting that personal therapy with somebody who's qualified to understand and deal with addiction characteristics is really super important, right? You may have other things influencing your life that need to come out in a therapeutic session. Addiction, it's going to amplify that too, right? Addiction is like a catalyst for bringing out all the good and the bad things that happen in ourselves. So getting that personal counsel in addition to and separate from the family counsel, very important. You go to person A for family, you should be going to person B for addiction. That's a quieter time. That's a one-on-one session. The last therapeutic session that you really need to consider as a parent is dealing with your siblings, dealing with the siblings of the qualified person, the person who's addicted to substances. We often forget that our children go through a lot of confusion just like the adults do, right? In my day, I was angry, I was sad, I was pissed, I was happy. I shut myself down, I wouldn't talk to people. All of that trickles down. All that is picked up by our children. So as we go together as a family, as you go and seek help as an individual, we have to really push towards getting the siblings of those addicted children in to see their own counsel, just to give them a place as a venue, a place to talk, a safe place where they and only they can have their conversations about their pains. And again, a qualified individual, somebody who's dealt with addictive substances, addiction in general, and specifically the healthcare of siblings in there, because there are specific questions that they need to ask, right? You don't want to have your child end up on the same path that your qualifier did. At the end of the day, while many of those things are disconnected, they're also connected, right? The stressors in a family can be so overwhelming that children often slip back into the paths of the addicted child that we're trying to help. So the three things that I like to point out to folks that I'm working with in terms of the mental health is good, solid support for family health, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, working with a family unit to bring together the strengths and needs, helping the family set the guidelines and boundaries that they need in order to support the child that's going through recovery. The second is personal health for you. Good therapy for you goes a long way. I'd say that goes on for years. I mean, once I got into it, I look forward to sitting down with my therapist, getting that week out, figuring out what's going on in my head and moving forward with an action plan. It is awesome. And then the last thing is sibling therapy. Sibling therapy is being able to sit down and help your child as well. This may seem like a lot of work, but addiction is a lot of work. Being able to provide a supporting environment is a lot of work. And if we're going to recover as a family, if we're going to help be in a position to recover our child to recover, we as a group have to be able to cohesively work together and solve that problem in a way that is productive and not counterproductive to recovery. So again, I hope these three areas of family, personal, and sibling mental health help you in setting up and working with your recovery program as you proceed on with dealing with addiction in your family.